Hi guys, I posted a teaser of my single player Bowazon clearing Uber Tristram months ago, but didn't get around to uploading one of the runs until now. Before we jump in, some things to remember. Firstly, I'll be showing one of the 5 Uber runs that I completed. For this run, I'll add in my commentary so I can explain what I was doing or thinking at each moment. The run will start from opening all 3 portals right up until killing the last Uber in Tristram. Secondly, these runs were done during patch 2.3 all the way back in March. Patch 2.3 did not have any of the new bow skill synergies and other buffs affecting Bowazons, so the damage numbers at the time the runs were done are actually lower than what I will show you in the stats and gear demos shortly. Next, these runs were done in single player with gear that has been all self-found. For each Uber run, I use multiple sets of gear as I progress my way through. I also use a couple of respec tokens to make a feasible build specifically for these runs. And finally, keep in mind that this is a pure Bowazon doing Ubers. She's not going to be able to cheese the Ubers like a Smiter can, so it's going to require more planning and effort to successfully clear the Ubers with her. Anyway, onto the build. For gear set 1 for Duriel and Izual, I'm using mostly what I would normally use for my single player Bowazon. I've got my usual Harmony and Faith bows here. Got an Atmos here for amp damage, normally I use a Cat's Eye here. For the main gear change, I'm using a G-Face and Gore Riders, which together have 50% chance of Crushing Blow. Crushing Blow is very important to have versus Ubers to take down percentages of their life every time a successful Crushing Blow hit is inflicted. For ranged attacks, each successful Crushing Blow hit removes 1/16 of their current life amount, averaging about 15,000 damage per hit over the course of the fight. Then we've got my Fortitude, Gore Riders, Ravenfrost, my Mabs belt, which I normally use with my Mabs helm for mana leech and fast run walk. Got my very good life leech ring here. And my standard laying of hands gloves. I've got an assortment of max damage charms that I normally use, as well as my non-Amazon torch and my Annie. I sadly don't have a Zon torch for my single player Bowazon, which would make these runs a lot easier. My Merc for now is using its usual Andy's Helm, Chains of Honor, and Pride Polearm. For the skills and stats, Magic Arrow I've got just enough points to minimise the mana cost and increase the magic damage conversion amount. Magic Arrow would be used to clean up skeletons and wraiths that get spawned in Tristram. Multi-shot I've just got the 1 point. I've maxed out Guided Arrow to reduce mana cost and maximise damage. This would be the main skill we will use against the Ubers, landing those Crushing Blow hits. It's very important that we keep landing hits on the Ubers, so Guided Arrow is good for that. Otherwise their life regeneration will take over and make my life miserable. I've got 1 point into Strafe as the main multi-target skill. Since we're using a proc heavy build and will likely be surrounded, Strafe will auto-aim to the right targets and trigger effects like Crushing Blow, Amplify Damage, Open Wounds, Slow, and Monster Flee. Again, because these runs were done during patch 2.3, and back then Strafe had a 75% weapon damage penalty and no synergies from Guided Arrow, the damage numbers for Strafe are significantly lower than what's currently shown on the character screen. For the passive and magic skill tree, Critical Strike has a few points in there but not too much. Normally this skill will be maxed, but as you'll see in a bit, the skill point arrangement is set up to be more defensive. For Penetrate, I've got a few points in here just to bump up the chance to hit with Strafe. For Pierce, I've got a few points in here, but again not too much. Our main focus for Ubers is dealing consistent damage using Guided Arrow, so Pierce doesn't come into play all too much. If anything, just 1 hard point in here should be enough. For dodging skills, I put a few points into each one for extra survivability. With enemies spawning around and Ubers dealing lots of damage, I sought to improve my chances of survival against those attacks. I could perhaps optimise these down a little bit, or if I had found a Zon torch, I could leave these as 1 point wonders. I've maxed Decoy out, and I'll use this extensively to draw fire and to aggro the Ubers. With dodging skills in 2.3, they frequently trigger the dodge animation, more so than in 2.4, which interrupts my attacks, so having a strong decoy nearby that takes hits for me will help me continue to attack. And finally, we have a Valkyrie maxed out. With synergies from Decoy, the Valkyrie is pushed to be as strong as possible for it to last long enough to be useful. In patch 2.3, Valkyrie had a long casting delay, so should the Valkyrie not be strong enough, the Valkyrie would die long before being able to cast another one. A strong Valkyrie, together with a strong decoy, allows me to not have to run around and avoid attacks all the time, so that's very important. For my stats, I've got just enough strength to wear my gear. This build uses a G-face, so I need a minimum of 115 strength to wear everything. Normally I would put all remaining points into dexterity or close to it, but for Ubers, survivability is a must, so I only place enough points to use a matriarchal bow and a little bit more to sustain some amount of damage and attack rating. All remaining points will then go into vitality. This is needed for Uber Mephisto in particular, as he moves very fast, has a very high conviction aura, and even his little minions that spawn around the place will do a lot of damage. For gear set 2 for Lilith, this is where the biggest change in gear occurs. I've got a perfect upped rip hook bow socketed with a shale to hit the 75% attack speed breakpoint. I was fortunate enough to find this bow in one of my many Nightmare and Duriel runs, so I got pretty lucky there. This bow is great for Ubers because it has a fast attack speed, life leech, and a healthy dose of both slow target and open wounds. Open wounds is an important part of our kit for Lilith because she's immune to poison and will regenerate life back quickly without it. Rattle Cage I'm using for the 25% crushing blow, and for the socket, which I added an increased attack speed and cold resist jewel to help hit the attack speed breakpoint. The hit causes monster to flee, helps remove minions from the fight as well. T-Gods is really more for later on, but it can be used here for extra life and a touch more damage. For later on, the Lightning Absorb will help supplement my resilience against lightning attacks for Uber Mephisto. And lastly, Kleagor's Gloves for extra slows target. This helps slows down the Ubers and any of the minions, making them easier to manage. For charms, I replaced my max damage charms with a mix of my best passive skillers as well as all resist and life small charms to boost the survivability of both myself, my Valkyrie, and my decoy. For gear set 3 for Mephisto, he's the most threatening Uber boss in Tristram, so I'll try to stack as much lightning resist as I can. For my Merc, I outfit him with Kira's Guardian, Chains of Honour that he normally uses, and an Obedience in an Ethereal Great Poleaxe. This gives my mercenary as much resist as possible to survive, while giving him large amounts of damage, decent chance to hit, and crushing blow damage. In Uber Tristram, the mercenary plays a helpful role in killing the individual minions, absorbing damage, or helping take down the Ubers. For gear set 4 for Diablo and Baal, I switched to a Rising Sun amulet. Diablo, Baal and their minions have fire attacks, so this amulet will heal me when I take fire damage, which makes me almost indestructible. Because this last phase is not as dangerous, I switched my charms again to have a little more damage just to speed up things a little bit. Even then, I'm sure I could have worked in some more damage charms again to make my balance of charms even better. Anyway, that's all for the gear, stats and skills. Let's hop into the run. To start things off, I go into the Forgotten Sands to fight Duriel. This fight is pretty straightforward, I just need to make sure my Merc and Valkyrie stay up, then just take him down. Next I'll go into the Furnace of Pain to find Izual. I'll just strafe down any monsters that are in my path. Pretty easy, but just takes a bit of time.
Overburdened.
Once Izual shows himself when he teleports to us, I'll just keep my distance and gun him down. Now one thing you'll notice is every time I hit him, he'll shoot an ice bolt in my direction. I just cast a decoy in between myself and Izual so that my decoy can absorb those hits. This is a handy trick as each of these ice bolts has a chance of triggering my dodge animation or putting me into hit recovery. Apart from that, Izual is not a problem and is easily taken down.
At your service.
Next, I'll go into the Matron's Den. This area is a little hairy with archers and succubi, so I need to be a little bit careful here. So I'll take it a little slowly and kill everything in my path.
I am overburdened. I can't carry anymore.
Around this corner, I'm expecting to see Lilith. I'll clear the minions around her and then aggro her out. Once she starts coming out, I'll make a TP and I'll do my gear switch.
Good afternoon.
Here, I'm stacking more Crushing Blow and Open Wounds. Lilith is immune to poison, so Open Wounds acts like a different kind of poison damage that stops her life regeneration. And then the slow on Rip Hook and Clerical's gloves makes Lilith's attacks and movements much slower, making her easier to manage.
I am overburdened.
I'll also switch my mercenary's gear now. Maybe he can land a couple of crushing blow hits on Lilith with his obedience weapon, but it's not a big deal if he dies
Put
here.
that to good use.
I can't carry anymore.
Okay, we'll head back in. With Lilith, I want to pin her down with Valkyrie and Decoy at the same time. The goal is to make sure that she doesn't come running to us, otherwise I'll have to run and she'll start regenerating her life again. Notice that I'm trying to cast Decoy on one side and Valkyrie on the other side of her. This is so that her AoE attacks only hits and kills one of them instead of both at the same time. So I'll just keep repeating this. It takes a bit of time, but she'll eventually fall. Okay, she's down now. I'll head back to town and get ready for Tristram.
How may I be of help?
I'll switch to some charms that give me more lightning resist for Uber Mephisto.
Yes?
So I'm at the top of Tristram now. I'll try to aggro Uber Mephisto out here. Once I see him coming, I'll pop out of Tristram and back to town again. Okay, he's coming out. Let's go. So from here, I'll head to the River of Flame and get some Urdar revives using my Harmony bow. Urdars are great as they inflict crushing blow damage, which helps take down bosses like Uber Mephisto. Those revives will also soak up damage and also distract Uber Mephisto. Anyway, while getting these revives, there's a couple of things I need to remember here, or 3 things, but one of those things I forgot to do for this run. Firstly, I need to take off my Ravenfrost ring to make sure I don't shatter any monsters that I want to revive. Then I need to find, kill and revive as many of them as quickly as I can, as revives are on a timer. And don't switch away from using Harmony. Very important, as switching will kill all of the revives straight away and can spell doom to my run. I'll let you guys figure out which one I didn't do. You might be wondering here, don't you have to be lucky to get Urdars to spawn on the map? Well, before commencing the run, I check the map first before creating the red portals, so that's how I do it. I'll also go to Durance of Hate as well to summon the Maulers there, basically doing the same thing. As it stands now, I don't have enough revives for Tristram, and Maulers are also lightning immune. Okay, so I've got enough revives now. I'll take a TP back and I'll head to Tristram again.
I can't carry anymore.
Salutations.
Once I head back into Tristram, I'll find Mephisto and basically circle him. Mephisto will summon his minions, so my revives might get aggroed by them. I'll just reposition myself again so that my revives will tag along and recircle Mephisto. Once he's surrounded, I'll then just shoot away at him. You can see that Mephisto is not trying to blast me away and is just using his melee attacks on the revives. This is what I want. He still summons his skeletons near me though, so I'll just reposition to avoid them. As you saw throughout the fight, Mephisto overcame the revives and broke free. Things are getting a little scary. I'll try to kite him a bit more here, but I'll need to go to town soon. He'll start to heal up here, unfortunately. Okay, I got his health back down again. I'll just make sure I have enough pots and try to finish him off. Again, trying to move quickly here before he regenerates too much health again. Okay, good. He's still sitting quite low. I'll just continue to kite back and snipe him. Alright, very good. The hard part is over now. I'll go back to town soon and change my ammo for Diablo and Baal. I'll just clean up this mess first.
I can't carry anymore.
What do you need?
Next, I'll aggro out Diablo or Baal, doesn't matter which one. For Diablo, I'll just use Valkyrie and Decoy to distract him and his minions while I shoot away at Diablo. If a Venom Lord gets in melee range, I'll reposition or recast Decoy to distract it. You can also shoot the Venom Lord to make him flee away as well. If a volcano gets cast, just reposition and recast decoy again. Apart from that, pretty easy. Again, just takes time.
Good afternoon.
Can I help you?
Now I'll get Baal to come out. I don't need to be careful here to draw him out since he's the only one left. I just want him to be in a place that's less cramped.
My brothers will not have died in vain.
I just need to keep my distance from Baal. If I'm not careful, he will use a mana drain attack and I'll need to drink a blue potion. Okay, notice here where it looks like the decoy is getting hit by lots of cold attacks. Baal has a chilling armor skill similar to Izual, where every time he gets hit, he will shoot an ice bolt towards the attacker. It looks like this time though, the animation for chilling armor or the bolts are not showing. You can see I place a decoy in between me and Baal so that the decoy can soak up those ice bolt hits. Okay, this fight is looking pretty clean. It's almost like I'm cheesing him. He just keeps casting his skills way out of range and not being aggressive at all. That's good for me. And there he goes. So as you saw with the Bowazon, the Ubers are quite possible, but it requires some more planning, smarter play, and it takes more time. Maybe I can optimize this Uber build further, or explore some alternative Uber Tristram strategies for the Bowazon, but probably something I won't revisit for a good while. At any rate, she's definitely not an efficient Uber farmer, but it's worth trying at least once if you're interested. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, please like the video if you enjoyed watching it, subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified of more videos like this in the future. See you all in the next one.